Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
One more day. President Trump and former Vice President Biden making a last-minute push to get voters to go to the polls tomorrow on Election Day.
And as new cases of the coronavirus soar to an average of 80,000 a day, officials here in Texas are calling for more help amid a surge of COVID deaths in El Paso.
And waking up on a Monday morning post-Halloween, the time change now in effect. A fabulous weather weekend. We have a lot to talk about today. Good morning to you. It is Monday, November 2nd.
Thanks for joining us this morning. And it's going to be a beautiful day, and it was a beautiful weekend.
Oh, it was fantastic. I took a road trip up Fredericksburg, then decided to go all the way over to Austin and back down.
Oh, nice. With the windows down.
With the windows down, yes. And trick-or-treaters, I've heard everybody talking in the newsroom this morning. Did you have trick-or-treater this year? And some people, some none. I gave away at least half of my candy.
Nope, I had 2. That was it.
What about you guys?
Well, we were out of town, so we don't know who came to our house.
You don't know?
Yeah.
It was sad because, usually we have about 8 million, just up and down the streets and everything like that.
And of course, we knew expectations to be kind of out of whack this year with the pandemic.
Yes.
Speaking of out of whack, whiskers are out this morning. The razors are down for the month. You're going to be hearing all about No Shave November throughout the day and throughout the month.
Yes, indeed. And I'm just going to start itching. Anyway, continuation of the beautiful weather that we had over the weekend. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic this morning. Depends on where you live as far as temperatures. 54 here in town, but then mid-30s in the hill country. We've got a little bit of a little push of some cooler air trying to work its way on in here. We actually went up a couple of degrees from last hour out there at the airport, but some of this cooler air will kind of filter on in here, and I think we'll drop down into the 40s when it's all said and done here in town. And as far as the allergens, mold is on the low side, and throughout the rest of today, like I said, I think we drop down a few more degrees into the mid 40s, kind of chilly, obviously very chilly in parts of the hill country. Nice looking today, 75 for a high temperature. Beautiful weather is going to continue. It's not going to be quite as fallish as the week progresses. Matter of fact, going to start to see a little bit more in the way of humidity. Any rain anywhere, that's what we desperately need. Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Marcus is running a little bit late, but we can check out a couple of TransGuide cameras there. And over there at 35 at 410, everything is moving along very nicely. And it looks like there still may be some construction by 10 at the Y, although it's not blocking any of the main lanes of traffic. Of course, Marcus is going to keep you updated all morning long. Mark?
Thank you, Mike. President Trump and former Vice President Biden have one last chance to make their case to voters in critical battleground states today. The two have dramatically different visions for tackling the nation's pressing problems and for the office of the presidency itself. More than 93 million people have already voted, and each campaign insists it has a pathway to victory. However, many polls show that Biden's options for picking up the 270 electoral college votes needed to win are more plentiful. Meanwhile, President Trump is banking on a surge of enthusiasm from his most loyal supporters. Heading into the closing 24 hours, both the president and former vice president painting the other as unfit for office and describe the next 4 years in near apocalyptic terms if the other were to win. Well, a day ahead of the 2020 election, and coronavirus continues to cause problems all across the country.
And that includes here in Texas, where some cities are reporting a surge in deaths. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
This morning, officials in Texas calling for additional help amid a surge of COVID deaths in El Paso. The hard-hit county setting up a 4th mobile morgue as hospital ICUs hit 117% capacity.
The resources have been strained to the breaking point.
It comes as every state except for Nebraska and Delaware see a rise in cases.
Things are getting worse around the country. I think Thanksgiving is really going to be an inflection point. I think December is probably going to be our toughest month.
North and South Dakota marking 2 straight months of the highest positive cases per capita, while New Jersey has now reported more than 1,000 cases every day for 15 days. And in New York, a Halloween party sparking outrage. More than 500 people packed into this warehouse.
I'm hopeful that we won't have a repeat of the events that occurred after Memorial Day and July 4th in terms of surging in cases, but we'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, there's no way to predict.
Overseas, a new round of lockdowns. In Spain, a 6-month state of emergency, triggering riots across the country. Crowds clashing with police, breaking windows and throwing fireworks. while British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced plans to shut down businesses in England starting November 5th.
Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
That we have massively increased capacity.
We continue to track COVID-19 cases here at home.
Our Sarah Costa joins us here with the latest numbers. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. Well, local health officials say there are 191 new cases of COVID-19. There are also no new deaths in the latest report. However, 9 backlog deaths reported from July 4th to October 11th were added to the county's death toll. This morning, there are 227 people hospitalized locally. 94 of those patients are in the ICU and 59 are in ventilators. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Right now, we want to get you up to speed on some other headlines here at home. A ride on a SeaWorld San Antonio roller coaster got a little wilder than expected this weekend. A car on the Wave Breaker rescue coaster got stuck high above the park yesterday, stranding riders and sending the fire department to get those people down. You can see fire crews had to use an extension ladder to reach them. The rescue process was slow but steady. After about 3 hours, fire crews managed to get all the riders down. At one point, they had to use poles to get water to the stranded people. EMS checked the riders out, and all are said to be okay. We tried to get in contact with SeaWorld to find out how the coaster got stuck, but they have not yet gotten back to us.
And time now is 4:36 and 54 degrees.
Still ahead on GMSA, actress Lori Loughlin beginning her sentence for her role in the college admissions scandal.
Also next, President Donald Trump responds to an incident in which his supporters were seen surrounding a Biden campaign bus that was headed from San Antonio to Austin.
And outside with live cam, cool starts, warm afternoons. Just plentiful sunshine out there. Does the trend continue all week? We will take a look ahead. Of course, another look at the Election Day forecast coming up.
And welcome back. It is 4:39. A federal judge is ordering the U.S. Postal Service to comply with its own so-called extraordinary measures for ballot delivery. The service announced those measures on Friday. Now, U.S. District Court Judge Emmett Sullivan is ordering postal leaders to spread the word to staff that the, quote, extraordinary measures, end quote, are mandatory. He says the USPS must use the express mail network for ballots traveling a long distance. Local ballots must reach their destinations the same day or the next morning. Sullivan wants every local post office to get a reminder by today that they must postmark all ballots. That's important because some states will count ballots that arrive after Election Day if they're postmarked on or before that day.
President Trump says the FBI should stop investigating an incident in which his supporters were seen surrounding a Biden campaign bus headed from San Antonio to Austin. The president's tweet came hours after the FBI confirmed it was aware of the incident and investigating. The president retweeted a screenshot of the FBI statement, adding, "In my opinion, these patriots did nothing wrong." He suggested the agents should be instead investigating protest-related violence in cities run by Democratic mayors. Videos posted online Friday show a group of cars and pickup trucks adorned with large Trump flags riding alongside the Biden campaign bus as it traveled from San Antonio to Austin.
And time now is 4:41 and 54 degrees.
Well, still ahead after years of collecting various works from African-American artists, a closer look at how a local man has curated his own museum in his own home.
And what's next now that actress Lori Loughlin has begun her 2-month prison sentence? That's next.
In this morning's GMA First Look, waking up behind bars.
I have to be honest. We may have, well, he may have embellished, lied a bit on our application.
Over the weekend, actress Lori Loughlin entering the federal prison in Dublin, California, where she'll serve her 2-month sentence. Reporting 3 weeks early, the Full House star will spend the first 2 weeks in quarantine at the low-security correctional facility just outside San Francisco.
Lori does not have access to email or possibly even phone calls. She's in one room with no other roommates. They can possibly go out a little bit on the rec yard for a few minutes.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you the latest on Loughlin's husband, Massimo Giannulli, and when he's expected to serve his 5-month sentence. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kaylee Hartung, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, San Antonio man has spent the last couple decades collecting and painting historic African-American art, creating his very own personalized museum in his house.
Our Japhanie Gray has more details on his legacy of inspirational work in our latest What's Up South Texas report.
69-year-old Anthony Edwards doesn't like to be labeled an artist.
I see myself, like I said, clearly as this person that has a strong sensate for creative things.
He's always pushed himself to learn new things, something he started at a young age by watching his mother play the piano. When you enter his home, you'll see that he's dedicated time and energy to his own personalized African-American art museum.
It's all kinds of different artistic expressions.
Artistic expressions he taught himself at age 42 after visiting an African-American art show in Atlanta.
And I decided to come back to San Antonio and go to Michael's and bought me some paint and some paper and brushes and painted stick people.
Stick people transformed to full portraits of historical figures including Maya Angelou, Martin Luther King Jr., and other prominent black figures like Kobe Bryant and Chadwick Boseman. His most recent project, the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
As you can see now, it's like a version of hoarding. You know, it's all leaning against the walls.
From paintings to stained glass, Anthony has learned it all, and there's a method to his madness.
Go cook me something, go to bed, get up at the middle of the night, look at it, and then it starts to talk to you.
He's been recognized on a national level for his artwork. One of his pieces was featured at the Smithsonian.
And it was something to go and see something at the Smithsonian on the wall that you remember vividly painting.
Anthony credits his success with paintings and strong foundation to his late parents. And he says there's a reason why he does African-American art.
I wanted to leave a legacy that my son, who's 42, that knows that his father didn't just talk it, he did it, and set an example for my granddaughter. She too can be anything she ever wanted to be.
And that is a masterpiece for What's Up South Texas.
To be a lifelong learner is an engagement that says that despite the fact that you can be a certain age, you can still learn to do things that you've never done before.
Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Wow, and already quite a body of work there. I mean,
Yes.
a number of works that are pretty impressive.
Very beautiful work by Anthony Edwards, and also impressive that he started at age 42.
I know.
Most people that get to this level paint all their lives.
Right.
Yeah.
We're still doing paint by numbers.
Yeah, well, of course. I have a little trouble with that.
Let's check on traffic. Marcus is in-house now with more, and he's also leading by a whisker in the weekend beard growth category.
As we take a look, how's it going, Mark?
Your microphone on, Marcus?
What's that?
Your microphone on?
Microphone? It should be on.
Yeah, I hear.
Okay, yeah.
Good. It's my IP, sorry.
Yeah.
I had to change mine too. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, 410 at Callahan. Right now, traffic not too bad. Moving over here to 410 in Ingram, you can see traffic moving along fairly well. No delays. And as we find another one there, Highway 151 at 410. No construction out there in this part. That's the great news. But if you're headed downtown inbound I-10, the exit from eastbound I-10 to northbound 35 right now temporarily shut down for some construction. They should be done shortly.
I don't know if it's that you have more whiskers or that you're one of the youngest guys in the room, and so your whiskers still have pigmentation to them.
I think it's the way I'm standing here. It's the shadow.
That could be it.
It's the shadow. Mine are pigmented, just gray pigs.
Yes.
You know, what helps is you get some charcoal. You get some charcoal and you rub it on. Is that the trick? Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get it all over your suit.
I don't recommend it for you, Steph.
Okay, not a good look.
We could not have had a more glorious weekend, and of course it was highlighted by the full moon on Halloween, and of course the second full moon in the calendar month, so it was a blue moon. No bluish tinge to it, but nice little alfalfa going on here too. We're talking hair, so sorry.
I see it.
Need hairspray. Anyway, we'll get it together here in a minute. And just a glorious morning, and we're gonna have a fantastic sunrise. Of course, it's going to be coming up an hour earlier this morning. Going to rise about 6:45 or so. Temperatures right now, big difference on where you live. San Antonio 54, and then 36 in Kerrville, Fredericksburg 36, 46 in Rock Springs. So obviously we've got this cooler chunk of air off to the northwest, which is going to try and work its way down in here a little bit. And here we go. Be gentle. Thank you. Pat it down.
There you go.
Okay. You've got a career as a hairdresser.
I did that
Anyway,
as socially
got a-
distanced as I could.
Yes.
We got a little bit of some moisture aloft in the atmosphere, so maybe a milky shade of the sky today, but still just absolutely beautiful. Of course, humidity is quite low, and it's been quite low since the big front moved on through here, and that's going to be the case the next couple of days. But look at the trend, how it goes up and up and up, and it does look like by the weekend, as soon as you get above that 60 line, 60 degrees for a dew point temperature, you start to feel a lot more humidity out there. So it does look like we will see some more humidity around by the weekend. Yeah, it's going to be, it won't be overly fallish once we get into the latter part of the week, as well as, like I said, the weekend. Not much as far as any clouds, just mentioned kind of that milky shade to the sky. And then around the country, well, a lot of snow off there to the northeast, but other than that, there is nothing going on, and that's what it is for us, which means not a drop of rain in sight. Perhaps being the operative word by next week sometime, but unfortunately there's nothing out there. 70 today at noon, sunny skies, again maybe that milky shade to the sky, and then 75 for high temperature, so down a little bit from yesterday's 82. But then tomorrow we're going to have more of this beautiful weather on Election Day. Beautiful for that. 45 up to 75. Notice how the low temperatures start to creep up. Highs do as well, but low temperatures creep up and stay in the low to mid 60s over the weekend. So that's the indication that we start to see a little bit more humidity. That goes up as the week progresses.
Okay, that was Steph's hairspray, so you need to thank her. And you need more.
I do?
Yeah, it's still kind of sticking up. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
We'll help you out.
Yeah, we will. Team effort.
You still look handsome.
It takes a tiny dysfunctional village to support my co-escapade. 452, 54 degrees.
And coming up next, we'll look at Jim Carrey's final portrayal of former Vice President Joe Biden on Saturday Night Live ahead of Election Day.
Jim Carrey gives his final performance of Joe Biden ahead of Election Day, plus a country star's latest album is making history.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Christopher Watson.
There's another holiday right around the corner. Election Day.
Jim Carrey is Joe Biden during the cold open for the last Saturday Night Live before Election Day. But maybe the bigger news is Dave Chappelle will host the first post-election SNL, just as he did in 2016, an Emmy-winning appearance in which he famously said he was giving President-elect Trump a chance.
I'm wishing Donald Trump luck, and I'm going to give him a chance. I got a tax policy that'll break your neck.
Speaking of Chappelle, his former Comedy Central show, along with Key and Peele, Inside Amy Schumer, and others, will start streaming on HBO Max Monday, in addition to where you can already watch them. Country star Luke Combs' album What You See Is What You Get is back atop the Billboard 200 and also set a new weekly streaming record for a country album. And Friends star David Schwimmer's 54 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
About 4 minutes till.
Still ahead on GMSA, we'll check in on the presidential candidates as they make one last push to get votes ahead of Election Day tomorrow.
Yahoo getting into the smartphone biz with a $50 device. More ahead in Tech Bites.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
The race to the White House is almost at the finish line. I'm ABC's Faith Abube in Washington with the latest from the campaign trail just ahead.
Outside with live cam, 52 degrees at last check at San Antonio International Airport after a fabulous weekend weather-wise. What does the work week hold as we start ourselves into November? Mike is standing by.
Hi, good morning. It's Monday, November 2nd. Hope you guys had a beautiful weekend.
Let's check on that forecast. How are the week looking overall, Mike?
Beautiful looks-wise. Now, the downside is not a drop of rain in sight, unfortunately. And also, we've had some just wonderful, wonderful temperatures. It did get on the warm side yesterday. Got up to 82 degrees. Now, it won't be quite as warm today, but things are going to start to make this incline, a slow incline, including those bottom numbers right there. Dew points at 37 right now, so bone dry air. We've dropped down to 52 degrees. We were actually at 51 a couple of hours ago, went up a little bit. Sometimes happens out there at the airport. I think if a jet turns the wrong direction, but we will continue to drop down into the mid 40s, make it up into the mid 70s later on today. So just a gorgeous day, down about 5-6 degrees from where we were yesterday. The aquifer went up half a foot in the past 24 hours. Yesterday's yesterday's reading, and then mold is on the low side. So it depends on where you live this morning, because we got some really cool temperatures out in portions of the hill country, but take note that there is no wind out in the hill country. So 35 only feels like 35 degrees in Comfort. No colder than that, 37. Look at the dividing line right there, basically almost along the escarpment. Some of this cooler air is going to try and push its way on in here, so that's going to help to knock our temperatures down a little bit more this morning. But it's darn cold out there in parts of the hill country, and chilly this morning, beautiful this afternoon. Like I said, down just a few degrees compared to yesterday. And then as the week rolls on, yeah, it's going to start to just ever so slightly creep up. We are going to be up into the 80s by the weekend, and yep, a little more humid. No rain, though, maybe sometime next week. We'll take a look ahead in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. Anything going on, sir?
Well, right now, Mike, from what we can see, things still look pretty good. So let's take a look at TransGuide once again. This is I-10 at the Y. This is where you have that 35 north and south split. And if you're eastbound on I-10, that's where we had some construction earlier this morning. As you can see, it is cleared up out of the way. Right now, no delays in anyone's travel times. Mark?
Thank you, Marcus. Late breaking news. Arson investigators are making sure there was no dirty work involved in a laundry room fire. They're at an apartment complex on the north side where that fire broke out just a few hours ago.
Our Katrina Weber is in the 100 block of Dresden with a live report. Now, Katrina, was there any other damage involved here?
No, firefighters say they were able to contain that fire to just the laundry room. It's a freestanding building. Actually, at the end of the breezeway just down in there, arson investigators are working, so that's why we're staying here. But I want to give you a look at the video. This fire broke out a little bit before 3 o'clock this morning. Firefighters say they did find that laundry room on fire. Well, they called in arson investigators just to be safe, just to be on the safe side. They say they didn't see anything right away, but they want to make sure that perhaps there was no one squatting in there who may have had a hand in the fire. That is why arson investigators are here checking things out right now. Again, they did contain it to that laundry room, which does have a lot of electrical equipment, as you might expect. So again, arson investigators here as a precaution, but firefighters do estimate the damage just to that building at about $30,000. Reporting live on the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. The heated battle on the campaign trail almost at a close. Election now down just 1 day away. More than 93 million voters have already cast their ballots, shattering records from the 2016 presidential election.
But both President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are still making their case to voters. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest from Washington.
With the race to the White House approaching the finish line.
It's time for Donald Trump to pack his bags and go home.
President Trump and Joe Biden laser focused on critical battleground states.
We are going to win the state of Michigan again.
Trump holding 5 large rallies across 5 states on Sunday, playing defense in states he won in 2016.
And we're going to win 4 more years in the White House.
In Iowa, the latest Des Moines Register poll shows he has a 7-point lead over Joe Biden. Biden leading by the same margin in Pennsylvania, according to the latest ABC News Washington Post poll, a state both candidates need to win the White House.
President Trump is terrified of what will happen in Pennsylvania. If you have your say, he doesn't stand a chance.
Biden slamming the president's handling of the coronavirus.
Imagine where we'd be if this president just wore a mask instead of mocked it from the beginning.
It's a choice between a deadly Biden lockdown. He wants to lock down. We're never locking down.
Meanwhile, Trump raising eyebrows with this comment.
We should know the result of the election on November 3rd. That's the way it's been.
While news outlets project a winner early, vote tallies have never been final on election night. In fact, this year, with record mail-in ballots already cast, the final results could take a while to certify.
And it's more important that we get a count that is accurate than a count that is fast.
In anticipation of protests on election night, federal law enforcement authorities are telling ABC News there are plans to add more non-scalable fencing around the White House. Area businesses are also boarding up. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Back here at home, a group of Trump and Biden supporters gathered over the weekend at a local dance hall to express their differences.
But they also found out what they had in common. Our Sarah Costa joins us live with more on yesterday's event. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. Well, hundreds gathered in the parking lot of Cowboys Dance Hall chanting for their respective candidates. They say, though there is a lot of tension between Democrats and Republicans, one thing they can agree on is the fact that they need to work together for the greater good of our country.
It's not about race. It's not about color. It's not even about religion. It's about honoring God in our country the way the forefathers founded it.
I just want to say that if you stand for something, get out there, let your voice be heard, because a lot of people don't have that right. And if we do, then we got to do it for those who don't.
In the end, both sides stressed the importance of casting your vote on Election Day. Though the event was mainly calm, there was one part of the night when someone threw a firework, which prompted police to call for backup. The situation didn't escalate, and the police say it was taken care of in less than 15 minutes. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Just a reminder that KSAT has you covered this election week. We're going to have 5 live streams for election coverage across the next 3 days, starting with an Election Day preview tomorrow night at 7 p.m. You can watch all of these live streams on KSAT.com or on the KSAT TV app.
And for Election Day tomorrow, Bexar County voters will still be able to vote at any polling location. More information, including all those polling sites, as well as what to bring with you, is on our website at KSAT.com.
And time now is 5:06 at 52 degrees.
Still ahead, Amazon celebrating Alexa's birthday with a huge sale on Alexa devices.
How appropriate. Plus, how older Americans are dealing with the social effects of the coronavirus in a new and unique way.
And the funny thing about doing stories on Alexas, we're setting off Alexas everywhere. By bringing up her name.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. It is a little early. Right now, you're looking live downtown. Yeah, it's still somewhat mild here in the city, but much cooler up towards the hill country. Michael, wrap up temperatures coming up.
During this pandemic, we have all had to adapt. For those who are taking strict precautions, that might mean isolation or limited social interactions.
That's right. While there are a lot of people trying to tackle the obstacles of the pandemic alone, there is a new trend among older age groups being referred to as bubbles or pods. Older adults in all kinds of circumstances, those living alone and those who are partnered, those in good health and those who are not in good health, they are similarly deliberating what to do as days and nights turn chilly and coronavirus cases rise across the country.
Some groups of close-knit older groups of friends and families are forming bubbles or pods. They are small groups that agree on pandemic precautions and will see one another in person. Everyone in this social group basically signs the unwritten contract to be as safe as possible. That way everyone is presumptively safe from the virus.
Medical professionals recommend that older adults in this situation reach out to those with other similar interests, people they may have met in church or in book clubs or art classes, for instance, and they try to form a group or a pod. Similarly, they recommend that families or friends invite a single older friend into their pod or their bubble.
There are clear-cut medical risks of COVID-19, but isolation can cause sociological and psychological effects as well.
These pods may even be more popular in the upcoming months because of Thanksgiving and the holidays. No one wants to spend the holidays alone, but you need to be safe.
As always, public health experts advise that thorough and frequent hand washing, wearing masks in public, meeting in small groups, and maintaining at least 6 feet of social distancing can help prevent the transmission of the coronavirus. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Max and Sarah.
Time now is 5:11 and 52 degrees.
Still ahead on GMSA, Yahoo is getting into the smartphone business with a $50 device.
Plus, how you can get a deal on a new Alexa device.
You got to whisper it.
We'll be right back.
Mom, it happened again.
Add some thrill to your wish list at the Season of Audi sales event. Get exceptional offers now.
New Vix Immunities Gummies are fortified with zinc and elderberry to sustain a healthy immune system, plus melatonin for restorative sleep. Because being run down is not an option. Recharge your nights to take on your days with new Vix Immunities.
Goodbye cleaning, hello clean.
Now BravaJet mops right where you need it with an adjustable precision jet spray and an advanced pad system, and offers personalized cleaning suggestions unique to your home. BravaJet M6 and the iRobot Home app, only from iRobot.
Yahoo has released its first mobile phone. ABC's Kenneth Moten has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Yahoo has launched its first smartphone, and it costs just $50. It's a bright purple Android and comes with select pre-installed apps. It has front and rear-facing cameras and 32 gigs of storage. Service is available through Yahoo's parent company, Verizon. Alexa is having a birthday sale. Amazon's voice assistant turns 6 this week. To celebrate, prices on Alexa-enabled devices are being slashed. An Echo Dot 3rd Gen drops to $19. The Echo Flex will cost just $10. Finally, Starbucks says nearly a quarter of all U.S. retail orders are mobile orders through the company's app. The coffee giant launched the mobile order and pay system 5 years ago, but it has become even more popular this year during the pandemic. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
5:16.
Let's go ahead and check traffic with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And right now, as we take a look, things not too bad out there. There's I-10 at the Y. You can see traffic moving along through that area. No problem at this point. We're going to move to some other parts of the city. Right now, this is 410 in Ingram. Travel northbound and southbound along 410, looking pretty good. And you can see that 1604 at Bandera, just a handful of vehicles out there early this morning. The good news is roads are dry and not too many vehicles out there right now.
That is good news. Well, the weather was fantastic this weekend. The moon put on quite a display.
Yeah, and yeah, can't get tired of looking at some of these pictures. And it's going to be beautiful moon gazing weather. You know, obviously it's a couple days past full, but still it's going to be big and bright out there like it was in Kerrville over the weekend. Yeah, I just don't get tired of looking at that. It was gorgeous. And the camera's a little out of focus, but we are going to be seeing a beautiful sunrise this morning like we've seen the past few mornings. Temperatures around the area yesterday, we did make it up to 82 degrees and even got into the mid 80s off to the south and west. It won't be as warm today. We got just a little bit of a nudge of kind of some cooler air. We were talking about this last week that's sliding on in here. So we're going to be seeing mid 70s, which is at or even just a hair below normal. But wow. You want to pick a lottery number, go for 75, at least according to this computer model. That's where we're going to be today and tomorrow. But then we're going to start to go up a little bit in temperatures as we go into the rest of the week. All right, around the area this morning, it really depends on where you are. I mean, 50 Pleasanton, 36 in Fredericksburg, 37 right now in Kerrville. So this little bit of cooler air is trying to work its way down in here. That combined with the clear skies and still dry air, we are going to be dropping down. So I'm going for mid 40s here in town for a low temperature when it's all said and done this morning. And, you know, there may be a couple of high wispy clouds out there today. There's a little bit of extra moisture aloft in the atmosphere. So could be that sort of milky shade of the sky. Maybe not as perfect of blue skies as what we've been having, but still no complaints as far as that goes. And again, there's nothing going on around the country. Some snow up to the northeast, of course, but I mean, that's it. And unfortunately, that means there's nothing in the short term as far as any changes coming about, as far as any rain, what we're leading to maybe by the middle of next week, and that would be about it. Yet another tropical system, that is Hurricane Eta, and it is going to be working its way into Central America and staying well down there. But yeah, we continue on with the Greek letters now. What is that? Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta. So that's the 6th in the Greek alphabet. So hilarious. Going back to my college.
I'm so proud of you, brother.
Can't tell you what I had for dinner last night, but I remember the Greek alphabet from college.
Go sig up, Mike.
32 right now, International Falls, Minneapolis at 31. So yeah, colder air is still covering most all of the country. But like I said, things are going to start to get a little bit milder as we go on in time. So the forecast today, absolutely beautiful day once again. Great looking sunrise, 70 today at noon, so we'll warm up very quickly throughout the morning hours, and we top off at 75 later on today. Beautiful, good looking sunset. Same thing tomorrow, maybe an extra cloud or two, especially in the morning. Fantastic for Election Day tomorrow. And then bit more humid. Humidity is going to continue to just creep upward as we go on into the rest of the week as well as the weekend. We're going to be up into the mid-80s by Sunday, so about 10 degrees above normal by Sunday.
Steph, I don't know if you know this, but Mike and I worked together probably 4 or 5 years before we realized we happened to be in the same fraternity in college, Sigma Phi Hair Salon.
Different universities, different eras, though.
Right.
Aw, but a connection nonetheless.
I know, as if we needed another one. 5:20, 52 degrees.
And coming up next, a new movie starring Sarah Paulson is set to debut on Hulu soon after getting knocked out of the theaters because of the coronavirus.
Pick 3 numbers this morning, 845 Fireball 8. Daily 4, 5325 Fireball 8.
Cash 5, 14, 17, 22, 24, 35. Lotto Texas, 14, 25, 35, 40, 52, 53. And your Powerball numbers, 2, 6, 40, 42, 55, Powerball 24, Power Play 3. Good luck.
Yet another movie debuts on streaming, plus Luke Combs is making Billboard chart history.
Here's CNN's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
I swear there was lightning coming from your eyes, starting the fire in a hotel room.
Niall Horan is playing the Royal Albert Hall, and you can be there, virtually at least. The former One Direction member is doing a live stream show this Saturday, November 7th, to benefit his touring crew, who've been out of work with concerts canceled due to the coronavirus. He'll perform hits from his chart-topping album Flicker and his newest album, Heartbreak Weather. Info at niallhoran.com.
I'm a straight shooting, we're drinking, we're breaking. Don't think I won't take a good thing too far.
When Luke Combs' What You See Is What You Get debuted nearly a year ago, it topped the Billboard 200 album chart and set a Billboard record for the most streams by a country album in a single week. Well, the album was just reissued with additional songs and went right back to #1 on the Billboard 200 and set a new weekly streaming record in the process.
You do everything for me. It's not fair. I'm your mom. It's my job to take care of you when you need me.
And she needs her, or does she? Here's the first trailer for Run, starring Sarah Paulson and Kira Allen as a seemingly doting mother and a teenager who begins wondering whether mom is her savior or her jailer. The thriller, knocked out of theaters by the coronavirus, debuts on Hulu November 20th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Run, starring Sarah Paulson.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Time now is 5:25 and 52 degrees.
Still ahead next half hour with 1 day to go before Election Day. COVID-19 remains a major issue for both candidates.
Plus, why health experts are getting increasingly concerned about what they're calling corona-somnia.
A closer look at which races in Texas could swing the balance of power. We'll be right back.
Hi, good morning. It is November 2nd. It is Monday, and we had a great, beautiful weekend and expecting nice weather today as well.
Right, and it feels suspiciously like 6:30 in the morning, but it's not. Here's Mike Osterhage with a look at how the week is shaping up weather-wise.
It's just going to be beautiful. Prize winning, kind of like what we had over the weekend. Subtle changes, though. Talk more about that in a moment. First of all, it's going to be a good-looking sunrise this morning. Temperature right now at 52 degrees. Still very dry air in place. 2 points at 37. Wind is out of the north. There's some much colder air up in portions of the hill country, and temperatures right now are in the mid-30s up there around Comfort, Kerrville. Of course, we've got the very dry air all around the area, but that cooler air is going to kind of work its way in here, and we'll continue that combined with this dry air and clear skies. We will continue to drop down, so we'll make it down to about the mid-40s here in town when it's all said and done. Low amount of mold in the atmosphere right now, and throughout the rest of today, nice big warm up throughout the day. We make it up to 70 at noon, 75 for high temperatures, so we will be down about 7-8 degrees compared to yesterday. Yesterday we made it up to 82 here in town, so this is down closer to and actually a degree or two below normal, and about the same situation tomorrow. Then as the week goes on, temperatures going to make a slow incline followed by the dew point, or along with the dew point. So it's going to be more humid as the week rolls on. Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Officer Marcus Trujillo, anything we need to know about, sir?
Well, right now, Mike, things still look pretty good. Travel all over the city with no delays. Shouldn't be an issue if you're getting ready to leave the house, or maybe you're from the overnight crew. getting ready to head home. Well, once you do hit the roadways, 410 in San Pedro, here's a pretty good example of what you'll see. And this is actually one of the busiest TransGuide cameras we have. Other ones that we do have available not showing too much traffic, but it's still early. Mark and Stephanie?
Thank you so much, Marcus. 1 day to go, folks. Tomorrow is Election Day, of course, and America will determine if President Donald Trump gets a second term.
Or if former Vice President Joe Biden will get to move into the White House. CNN's John Lawrence reports.
President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden spent the final weekend of the 2020 presidential campaign on the road.
A vote for me and the Republican Party is a vote for the American dream.
The only thing that can tear America apart is America itself. And that's exactly what Trump's been trying to do.
One of the major issues during this race is the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, first off, we haven't beaten it. I think let's all agree on that. I think we have to, all of us need to wear a mask. We need to social distance.
According to Johns Hopkins University, since January, there have been more than 9.2 million confirmed cases in the U.S. and more than 230,000 deaths.
We're going to see not just the cases continue to escalate, but we're going to see perhaps 2,000 deaths per day 2 or 3 weeks from now.
And now voters will decide who should lead the fight against the pandemic. This as President Trump appears to suggest firing Dr. Anthony Fauci, a member of the White House's coronavirus task force.
Don't tell anybody, but let me wait till a little bit after the election.
We're going to act to get COVID under control. It's almost criminal the way he has handled it.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The BBC and Sun newspaper reporting Prince William, second in line to the British throne, tested positive for COVID-19 earlier this year. They cite palace sources and a quote-unquote observer. The Sun notes William took a break from activities April 9th through the 16th. It's a few weeks after his father, Prince Charles, tested positive for coronavirus. Prince Charles first in line to the throne, followed by his oldest son.
And rescue efforts continue in Turkey following a major earthquake. Today, rescue teams pulled 2 girls alive from a wreck of collapsed apartment buildings in the Turkish coastal city of Izmir. The overall death toll in Friday's quake has reached 81 after teams found more bodies overnight. More than 1,000 people were hurt.
Monday morning, 5:33, 52 degrees.
And still ahead, while not technically a swing state, Texas still has an important role to play in this year's election. We're going to break down some of the key races.
Plus, we'll explain why health experts say there's a rise of people dealing with what they call coronasomnia.
And taking a look out with live cam this morning, a nice cool 52 degrees and looking forward to a beautiful day. But how long will this beautiful weather last? We're going to check in with Mike after the break.
It's no secret that 2020 has been a stressful year, and new studies show that sleeping during this pandemic, or at least trying to sleep, it's become a nightmare for a lot of people.
Well, between cooling off from the stress of the workday, managing anxiety from reading about the pandemic and politics, people around the world are struggling to find that nighttime relaxation, and it shouldn't come as a surprise with all the disruption we have seen this year.
People who have experienced some sort of disruption to their usual sleeping routine since the pandemic began this March are experiencing more restlessness or a poor quality of sleep. For others, the new reality is more obvious, either a chronic lack of sufficient sleep or full-on insomnia. Some experts have gone so far to nickname the current trend coronasomnia.
Since the pandemic started, the numbers of those who are struggling with sleep have gotten worse. 36% of Americans reported difficulty sleeping this summer because of stress due to the pandemic. All this is according to the latest study from the Kaiser Family Foundation. And there are many reasons to be concerned. Poor or insufficient sleep, it can increase the risk for chronic health problems, things like diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, kidney disease, heart disease, and depression.
Sleep also is considered a critical part of the proper function of our immune system, which is important during a pandemic. Poor sleep habits can also lead to weight gain, according to the Society of Behavioral Sleep Medicine. That's because lack of sleep is associated with dysregulation of the hormones that make us hungry and tell us when we're full. Studies also show fatigue hijacks our motivation to exercise, and when we're tired, we generally make more impulsive choices about everything, especially what we eat.
For those formerly diagnosed with insomnia, there are medical aids you can consult a doctor about.
Or you can try cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. Medical professionals say it helps people identify the underlying causes of their insomnia or adopt behavior changes.
That's right. The treatment is about breaking bad habits and retraining yourself to sleep the healthy way. Tactical changes to your everyday lifestyle can also improve sleep habits, as well as trying to exercise every day. Try to burn off that stress and wear yourself out. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. In your morning consumer headlines, if you need a vehicle to get to your polling place, Hertz is willing to rent you one for free. It's calling the program Drive the Vote. If you rent a vehicle on Monday for 2 or more days, you'll get 1 day on the house. This is the first time Hertz has offered free rides for a good cause. After the pandemic began, it provided $2 million worth of free rentals to healthcare workers in New York City.
We have some good news. Nationwide, gas prices have fallen on average to under $2 a gallon. Prices have pumped down to levels not seen for more than 4 months. The drop aided by the fact that prices typically go down as we move into fall and winter months. More than half of the 140,000 filling stations in the U.S. selling gas under the $2 mark. That includes here in San Antonio. We've seen prices as low as $1.44 in some locations, according to GasBuddy.com.
And Target is changing up its Black Friday sales this year by offering new Black Friday Now deals. It's a series of week-long sales that run the entire month of November. The first week will feature deals on electronics. The second week focuses on kitchen favorites and floor care. The third week features more electronics, apparel, and beauty products. And the last week of the month, all about toys and more, including select consoles. Other retailers like Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's are also starting their holiday sales early this year.
Do you know anybody that started their Christmas shopping early?
I don't know anyone. Yeah, you either. And I'm so last minute. I'm still.
No.
Yes, you know me.
I do. We'll get on that. We'll make a list.
Maybe this year. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about it later. Procrastinate about talking about it. It's hilarious. Yeah. 540 right now, 52 degrees.
And coming up next, a closer look at the congressional districts where the candidates are battling it out for each and every vote.
543, Texas may not be considered a swing state in this election, but there are some congressional districts where the candidates are battling it out for each and every vote.
Texas is not the only state where the candidates are fighting for their political lives. We checked in with our sister stations in Florida, Michigan, Virginia, and just down I-10 in Houston on some of the races they're covering that could swing the balance of power in this 2020 election.
Myra Arthur starts us off in our own backyard with the most heavily contested race in the state, the battle for Congressional District 23.
Hello, I'm Myra Arthur in San Antonio, a battleground for a couple of congressional races, including District 23. When Republican Will Hurd announced he would not seek re-election, that opened the race to Democratic candidate Gina Ortiz-Jones and Republican newcomer Tony Gonzalez. Ortiz-Jones, an Air Force veteran, has raised more money in the campaign fundraising battle. Gonzalez, who served in the Navy, has been endorsed by both President Donald Trump and Hurd in an effort to keep that seat on the Republican side, as it has been since 2012. The district covers 29 counties and 2 time zones, so you can see why it's considered the most competitive district in the state of Texas.
I'm Nadine Yanis here in Central Florida along that critical I-4 corridor where political experts here say this swing state could be determined by 2 swing counties, Pinellas County and here in Seminole County, where in Seminole you have 118,000 registered Republicans, 117,000 Democrats, and about 100 independents up for grabs.
I'm Kent Justice in Jacksonville, Florida, where Duval County could play a key role in the presidential election. Historically, Duval County has turned out for Republicans. And we saw that in 2016 when President Trump won the county by 6,000 votes. In recent years, though, the county has really turned purple. Democratic voters closed the gap in 2018, giving gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum more votes than the eventual winner, a Republican, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Duval County itself, if you look historically at the voting, has become purple. It is clearly in play. It is a battleground county.
What Duval County holds in store for 2020 will hinge on turnout, which experts say is expected to be enormously high.
I'm Mara McDonald. Here in Michigan, we have one of the hottest contested races for U.S. Senate in the entire country. It is between incumbent first-term U.S. Senator, who's a Democrat, Gary Peters, and his GOP challenger, John James, who's an Iraqi war vet who runs a logistics company in the city of Detroit. Now, polling has suggested that James is within striking distance of Peters, and millions are being spent in an ad war that has been raging for months.
I'm John Carlin in Roanoke, Virginia.
Virginia's 5th district features a soft-spoken medical doctor in Cameron Webb as the Democrat versus a die-hard born-again Christian conservative and former wrestling coach named Bob Good running as they ditto vote for President Trump in a district where Republicans typically dominate.
The first thing I'll say is I do not support defunding the police.
Webb defends his position as a moderate Democrat while distancing himself from calls for defunding police, while Republican Good claims that he is the law and order candidate.
I was frankly the best friend on the board of supervisors that Campbell County had.
This is an open seat where pollsters see it as a toss-up. And with Democrats pouring millions into the race, it'll take a huge turnout for Trump in the district to keep it in the hands of Republicans.
I'm Robert Arnold in Fort Bend County, just southwest of Houston, where the District 22 race between Republican Troy Nehls and Democrat Shree Kulkarni is the race to watch. Republican Pete Olson is retiring after 12 years. Kulkarni nearly unseated Olson in 2018, and he's looking to flip the seat this time around.
He disobeyed orders and was suspended. Kulkarni's personal behavior is reckless.
The mudslinging has been fierce, with tons of outside money being poured into advertising. So what has changed in District 22? It's more diverse than ever before. Fort Bend and Katy independent school districts each report more than 90 languages are represented in their schools.
As the clock winds down on this 2020 election, nothing is certain except the potential for some surprises. KSAT has you covered on the national, state, and local levels, both online and on air. Our election coverage starts online Monday night at 7 p.m. with our preview of key races in the election. We'll have other live streams on Election Day starting at 7 a.m. and our election night coverage starting at 7 p.m. We'll see you there. Myra Arthur, KSAT 12 News.
548.
Let's go ahead and check back with Officer Marcus Trujillo. How are the roads looking right now?
Well, not too bad right now as far as the highways are concerned. You can see that the traffic still moving along fairly well. Let's move over here too. This is 410 over there by Callahan. You can see travel in both directions, still running smoothly with no delays. No problems here of Highway 151 at 410, although we are starting to see some increases in the traffic. And then taking a look, 1604 Bandera, also a few more vehicles out there on the roadway.
Well, it's about to get a little hairy around here, and that has nothing to do with the election. It is time for No Shave November, and we started putting our razors down over the weekend.
Yeah, I see. It looks nice.
Thank you. Yeah, all of us are doing it here on the morning team, and you're going to let it grow in the fight against cancer. To donate to our team, we've all set some goals. Go to our website, KSAT.com. There's results before and after from last year.
Nice.
Yes, there's going to be more salt in that pepper this year.
Yeah, tell me, well, case in point right there. So mine went about 2.5 weeks or something like that because we had to do a family picture and I didn't want the.
Gotcha.
Right.
So,
but you're in it for the long haul this year, Mike.
Yeah, pretty much so. I think so.
And y'all raised a lot of money last year.
Mike was our winner, I think. How much did you raise?
I think, was it 5,000? I believe. I'm not positive on that one.
I don't remember.
But you know, the whole thing is too, and it's fun to do, but you know, like we have done testimonials, which are going to be shown as well, and it's like, you know, the last month, breast cancer awareness, fantastic and all that, but now it's time, you know, guys kind of don't think about themselves sometimes.
Right.
I'm fine, you know, that's that macho kind of thing, and no, but you gotta, you know, think about what's going on with you. So.
Well, we're going to spend the coming weeks talking more about this, and we'll keep you updated. But again, go to KSAT.com, and today check out GMS 8 and 9. You and I are going to talk a little bit more about the background of not only No Shave November, but the original incarnation, which was Movember. What's the difference, and who benefits?
Yeah, because KSAT's been participating the last several years.
Yep. That's right. So look for that coming up on GMS 8 at 9, and of course right here on the morning show throughout the month. Mike?
All right, here's a picture from over the weekend. Absolutely spectacular. We had those vivid blue skies out there. There's a hint more moisture upstairs in the atmosphere, so maybe not quite as intensely blue, but still really darn nice again today after a fantastic the weekend. Yesterday got up to 82 degrees after a very chilly start down in the 40s. And we're going to be dropping down a few more degrees this morning. Obviously, this is a little bit out of focus, but we are seeing some clear skies out there, and that's going to allow temperatures to continue to drop down. So it's really, I mean, look at that, 20 degrees difference basically from New Braunfels to Fredericksburg. Here in town, 52, 36 in Kerrville. Obviously, this colder air out here in the hill country, this is going to continue to kind of just seep on in here a little bit more. And this combined with clear skies, dry air, light wind, all the ingredients you want for radiational cooling, we will continue to drop down into the 40s, of course, before the sun comes up just before 7 o'clock this morning. And as far as any clouds today, nothing out there today. We may start to see by tomorrow morning just a couple of scattered morning clouds around the area. Yeah, one or two of them, then those are going to be clearing on out. And then that'll be the case going into the rest of the week as well as the weekend. Now, in the big picture of things, there is nothing. So if you want just good looking weather, great. But I mean, you look around at your yard and a lot of yards around here and everything. We desperately need some rain. We haven't had any measurable rain. Well, we had a little bit, but you know, not anything to really write home about last week. But there is just nothing in, especially the short term, which is what we're basically looking at right here. The temperatures are, well, covering most of the country, pretty chilly, except down there around Florida. And we've got high pressure sitting on us right now. A little bit of a kind of a push of that cooler air came on in here after the warm day yesterday. So therefore, we are going to be a little bit cooler today. Tomorrow, just mid 70s, so about normal, maybe a degree or two below that. About the same thing tomorrow. Then as we go into the rest of the week, we are going to start to see temperatures go up a little bit. And there's a big trough that's going to be developing out there to the west, which this is a warmer pattern as opposed to when things are kind of flip-flop like they were last week and we had the big northwesterly flow. This is the southwesterly flow, and this is one hopefully then by maybe the first part of next week. This is going to do something for us as far as with some extra moisture around here, getting some rain to get scared up, but nothing really even in the future looking at down the road about a week and a half or so. 70 today at noon, sunny skies, absolutely gorgeous day. Again, a milky shade of the sky, a couple of high wispy clouds. Otherwise, just call it plain old sunny skies. 75 for a high temperature. Tomorrow, more of the same. And Wednesday, we'll start to see a couple of clouds around here. A few more clouds hanging in through the weekend. And yep, it is going to be a bit more humid going into the weekend as well.
I thought more about it. I think you won last year our No Shave November fundraising with something like $700. Because we all had real low totals, like 200, 250,
really?
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, 5,000 sounded better.
That's okay.
Well, maybe that was the collaborative effort.
I don't, but again, I don't recall. So, but thank you for your donations. We appreciate it.
And if you want to go for 5 this year, go for it.
Come on.
Right now, it is 5:53, 52 degrees.
Let's take a look at our winning Lotto numbers. Today we have pick 3, 845, Fireball 8, and your daily 4, 5325, Fireball 8.
Cash 5 numbers 14, 17, 22, 24, 35. Lotto Texas 14, 25, 35, 40, 52, 53. And Powerball 2, 6, 40, 42, 55. Powerball 24, Power Play 3. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we are tracking just one day from the election. The candidates going on an all-out blitz of battleground states, fighting for every last vote. Of course, we're going to have the latest from their campaigns and from those crucial swing states. You'll see it all coming up right here on GMA.
Just a reminder, KSAT has you covered this entire election week. We have 5 live streams for election coverage across the next 3 days, starting with an Election Day preview tonight at 7 o'clock. You can watch all those live streams on KSAT.com or on the KSAT TV app. Well, even though the weather's getting colder, many still want to spend some time outside on the patio or porch. Still ahead on GMSA. A few things to keep in mind when it comes to finding that perfect patio heater. And right now, taking a look at TransGuide at 10 of the Y near downtown. Not a lot of traffic on the roads right now. We'll check back in with Marcus and get Mike's forecast. Yeah, it's actually 6:02 right now.
Yeah, a lot of positive things this weekend. Beautiful weather, Halloween, a beautiful full moon, and a lot of people got to sleep in yesterday.
That's right. Mike joins us now with a look ahead to the first full week of November 2020.
Yes, indeed. And it's starting off absolutely gorgeous out there like it did yesterday, because now at 6 o'clock we are starting to see the glow of the sunrise. Sun's going to be coming up in about 45 minutes or so. And of course, it is going to be a spectacular sunrise. Grab a jacket before you head out the door. We're at 52 here in town, but then 30s. Actually, some of the outlying areas in the hill country may be down close to freezing this morning. We've got obviously some cooler air, which is trying to kind of push on in here. Of course, yesterday we had 82 degrees here in town, and just a little bit cooler air is going to help to keep temperatures down somewhat. So we'll be at 75 for a high temperature later on today. Mold is on the low side, so not too bad at all. And we're going to warm up very quickly once that sun comes up. So I think we drop down in the mid 40s here in town, and then we are going to be warming up, like I said, very quickly. So by noon, we'll already be up to 70 degrees, and then we top off at 75. So at or even just a degree or two below normal. Plenty of sunshine out there. Absolutely spectacular. More of the same tomorrow, and then throughout the rest of the week, going to start to creep up a little bit. So will the humidity. Details in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here is Officer Marcus Trujillo. It's been kind of quiet up to this point, sir.
So far, but now we have an accident up there, Wurzbach Parkway. So not on one of the bigger highways, but nonetheless, it is at an intersection that tends to get very, very busy throughout that morning commute. That's O'Connor at Wurzbach Parkway, right at the intersection. Watch out for a major accident currently in the clearing stages. Now let's take a look outside through TransGuide. Highway 151 and 410, as you can see, not too bad as far as increases in the traffic. So far, no delays in anyone's travel times. Mark and Stephanie.
Thanks, Marcus. One day away from Election Day. Voters not just deciding on candidates, but also some local propositions.
And joining us live to break down those propositions up for a vote tomorrow is our Sarah Acosta. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. And San Antonio residents have 3 propositions to vote on, and reading those long props and truly understanding them while in the voting booth can be time consuming. So let's get right to it. 8 years after voters gave the green light to pre-K for SA, the city is asking them to keep the early childhood program going. Officials want to keep a 1/8 cent sales tax to continue to fund the program for the next 8 years. Pre-K for SA says that since it began, thousands of preschoolers received what experts say is an important leg up in their education. The program says it has provided training for 2,000 educators and given out $20 million in grants in its first 8 years. Another prop to look at, city leaders are also looking to give an existing tax a new purpose and help retrain and educate workers affected by the pandemic. The 1/8 cent sales tax would be used for the SA Ready to Work program. It would be part of San Antonio's COVID-19 recovery and resiliency plan. This is not a new tax. It reallocates money that is being used to help fund the Edwards Aquifer Protection Program. Core services of the program include tuition assistance, emergency financial assistance, and wrap-around services. If approved, officials say up to 40,000 people could be helped over 4 years with a taxpayer-generated $154 million beginning next fall. And another proposition in a separate but related proposal to Proposition B, residents will be asked if the 1/8 cent tax for the Ready to Work SA prop can be diverted to transportation after its funding expires at the end of 2025. If approved beginning on January 1st, 2026, the tax would increase from 1/8 to 3/8 of a cent. It would pay for advanced public transportation services as well as operations and equipment. I know it's a lot to take in, so to read more about these propositions, you can head to KSAT.com right now. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. And of course, Election Day is tomorrow. Bexar County voters will still be able to vote at any polling location. You can find more information, including all of those locations, as well as what to bring with you. That's on our website on KSAT.com.
Well, as we continue our election coverage this week, we want to let you know that starting this afternoon, KSAT.com will look a little different.
Erica Hernandez joins us live in the newsroom with the details. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning. Well, this afternoon, an elections takeover will happen on the website to make sure you're up to date on all election news. Now, this is a preview of what it will look like. At the very top, you will see President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. And right on top, you can see the electoral count, and below it, the popular count. This will be updated as the numbers are coming in tomorrow. Also, you'll be able to toggle through and look at other races. A little further down, we'll have the key races up in Bexar County and live election updates. And speaking of live, we have a live stream article that will be up, and you can take a look at all the live press conferences or shots going on throughout Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, we start live streams this afternoon at 7 p.m. and we'll have another one tomorrow morning after GMSA and Wednesday morning as well. There is a lot going on, and later in the next half hour, we'll take a little more look about the important articles that will be posted to guide you through the next couple of days. Mark, Steph.
Thank you, Erica. Following what's become a big talker this weekend, President Donald Trump is praising the actions of his supporters here in Texas who swarmed a Joe Biden campaign bus as it traveled between San Antonio and Austin.
They had hundreds of cars. Trump, and the American flag. That's it. You see Trump and American flag. Do you ever notice when you see the other side? I don't even see much of the other side.
A campaign official for former Vice President Joe Biden said nearly 100 vehicles were involved in Saturday's incident. That campaign official described the incident as an attempt to slow down the bus and run it off the road. Staffers on the bus called 911, which eventually led to local law enforcement assisting the bus to its destination. Several campaign stops were also canceled, citing security concerns. Now, the FBI is now investigating. A statement released to KSAT from the Bureau reads in its entirety, quote, FBI San Antonio is aware of the incident and is investigating. No further information is available at this time, end quote.
Both the Democratic and Republican parties are hoping Texas voters will show their support in their favor. Democratic National Chair Tom Pettis stopped at Brooke Army Medical Center over the weekend. He says this election year is different than any other and every vote is important.
The White House goes through Texas. The road to a Senate majority goes through Texas.
Meanwhile, Republican Senator John Cornyn, who's facing Democratic nominee MJ Hagar, expressed his support for President Donald Trump. He also stopped by the San Antonio Police Officers Association Sunday afternoon. Along with other elected leaders, they focused on backing the men and women in blue and supporting police unions.
The way that we get to express our support for the people who stand up and defend our police is through our vote at the ballot box.
Senator adds he wants voters to take public safety into consideration before they head out on Election Day. You can hear more from both candidates on KSAT.com. Just look for this story on our homepage. Well, it's the eve of the election, and President Trump and former Vice President Biden are going to try to squeeze out every last vote they can.
While some polls have former Vice President Joe Biden leading, Election Day is still tomorrow. CNN's Daryl Forges is in Delaware, where the Democrats hope to declare victory.
Less than 24 hours until Election Day.
We need every single one of you to get out and vote on Tuesday.
And former Vice President Joe Biden isn't wasting a single moment. The focus on the final stretch, battleground states where the Biden campaign hopes to flip some that went red in 2016.
You all are going to decide who's going to be the next president of the United States.
After Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris spent the weekend sprinting from North Carolina to Georgia to Florida to Michigan and to Pennsylvania, Biden will hold his last events Monday in Ohio and Pennsylvania. The Democratic nominee is leading in national polls and in some of these big swing states.
We feel confident about where we are, and we feel very confident about our pathways to victory.
But who will win once all the votes are counted is anybody's guess. In the end, Biden is hoping his message of unity hits the right note with voters.
We need American leadership that seeks to de-escalate tensions, to open the lines of communication, to bring us together, to heal, to hope. I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I'll govern as an American president.
In Wilmington, Delaware, I'm Daryl Forges.
New this morning, arson investigators are working to determine what caused a fire on the city's north side. San Antonio fire crews say they say the fire started around 2:45 a.m. in a laundry room at an apartment complex in the 100 block of Dresden. Firefighters were able to knock out the flames quickly, but the room still sustained about $30,000 in damages.
San Antonio Police and Crime Stoppers need your help finding the person responsible for an aggravated robbery at an expressway. Take a look at your screen to see if you recognize this man. Happened last Friday at the expressway on 90 and 410 on the west side. According to police, suspect walked up to the counter, demanded money while showing the cashier a weapon. Suspect left before police arrived. If you have any information that could lead to an arrest in this case, call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP.
And time now is 6:12 and 52 degrees.
Still ahead, a Full House star waking up behind bars for her involvement in the college admissions scandal. We'll tell you what's next for Lori Loughlin.
Plus, a new trend where older age groups agree on pandemic precautions and see one another in person. Coming up next, details about senior pods.
And outside with live cam, Election Day forecast and the rest of the week coming up right here on GMSA.
During this pandemic, we have all had to adapt. For those who are taking strict precautions, that might mean isolation or limited social interactions.
That's right. While there are a lot of people trying to tackle the obstacles of the pandemic alone, there is a new trend among older age groups being referred to as bubbles or pods. Older adults in all kinds of circumstances, those living alone and those who are partnered, those in good health and those who are not in good health, they are similarly deliberating what to do as days and nights turn chilly and coronavirus cases rise across the country.
Some groups of close-knit older groups of friends and families are forming bubbles or pods. They are small groups that agree on pandemic precautions and will see one another in person. Everyone in this social group basically signs the unwritten contract to be as safe as possible. That way everyone is presumptively safe from the virus.
Medical professionals recommend that older adults in this situation reach out to those with other similar interests, people they may have met in church or in book clubs or art classes, for instance, and they try to form a group or a pod. Similarly, they recommend that families or friends invite a single older friend into their pod or their bubble.
There are clear-cut medical risks of COVID-19, but isolation can cause sociological and psychological effects as well.
These pods may even be more popular in the upcoming months because of Thanksgiving and the holidays. No one wants to spend the holidays alone, but you need to be safe.
As always, public health experts advise that thorough and frequent hand washing, wearing masks in public, meeting in small groups, and maintaining at least 6 feet of social distancing can help prevent the transmission of the coronavirus. Guys, back to you.
6:16, 52 degrees.
And traffic was looking okay earlier, but now more people are on the road. How are things now?
More people on the road, and we do still have that one accident, but take a look at how busy it is here. Highway 151 at 410, particularly on those lanes coming towards 410 from 1604. But still have that accident up there, Wurzbach Parkway, right at O'Connor. So right at the intersection, watch out for a number of emergency vehicles responding to that scene.
Thank you, Marcus.
Getting ready for school. Nice cool morning.
Yeah, it's very pleasant. Out in the hill country, it's downright cold. We've got some 30s out there right now, but it's going to be warming up. You know, it's one of those jacket in the morning, and then you certainly don't need it by the afternoon. And yesterday, it was so nice in the afternoon. Went for a nice little walk around the neighborhood. So pleasant, and that's the way it's going to be again today. And temperatures, we're in the low 50s right now. I think we continue to drop down maybe a couple of more degrees just as the sun is coming up. And then again, big warm up throughout the day. We gain about 25, 30 degrees across the board, up to 75 here in town, which is lower than yesterday's high temperature. We did peak out at 82 degrees, but we have a little bit cooler air that has slid on in here just to shave temperatures off ever so slightly. What a great looking picture. Love that. Wouldn't it be neat if the limbs were all covered in snow too?
Aww.
To accent that cardinal? Nope, not around here. Anyway, thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. Speaking of beautiful pictures, look at this one. This is the sunrise taking place as of right now, or the beginnings of it, I should say. Sun's going to be coming up in about 25 minutes, 30 minutes or so. Temperatures 46 in Seguin, 49 Pleasanton, 52 here in town as well as in New Braunfels. But then again, you go out into the hill country and it's down in the 30s as of right now around Comfort, Kerrville. We've got a little bit of moisture aloft in the atmosphere. Now, nothing really showed up on the live cam picture, but there may be just a slight milky shade to the sky today. Perhaps not as intensely blue skies as what we had last week, but it's still going to be just gorgeous out there. And the computer models really don't pick up anything as far as any cloud cover necessarily, and that's going to be the case through today, tonight. Maybe one or two clouds tomorrow morning, but then we'll have plenty of sunshine in the afternoon. And that's going to be the case really throughout the rest of the week. We may start to see a couple more clouds hanging around here in the afternoon, but it'll be a few morning clouds and then plenty of sunshine in the afternoon. And this pattern really doesn't lead to anything as far as any changes, any big changes, nor any rain, unfortunately. 70 today at noon, sunny skies and really pleasant. Humidity is still going to be on the low side. 75 for a high temperature. More of the same tomorrow. Very, very nice day tomorrow. And Wednesday, yeah, it's still really pleasant out there. 50 for a low temperature, still slightly below normal. But then we start to get up to 55 for low temperature on Thursday. That's normal, the 30-year average. Then we get above that. So low to mid 60s over the weekend. That means more humidity around here. So humidity is going to start to creep up along with temperatures. And we're going to be in the mid 80s by Sunday. So won't be overly fallish.
There was some chit chat in the newsroom earlier before the morning show about trick-or-treaters this year. And it was kind of a hodgepodge of results, right?
Very few.
Two.
We usually have 1 million.
Yeah, we had about, I'm down to about half the candy that I put out.
And so we were at my sister-in-law's house, and she was prepared with, individual packed bags of candy, and nobody showed up.
Oh, wow.
So Rooney was like, yes, one for me, me, and me.
2 for me, 3 for me.
Yeah, I got a ton of leftover candy, and I don't know if it's good news or bad news. There's no Twix.
I'll bring you some Twix.
So I'm not going to be eating the Twix all the time, though.
I'll bring them to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to enable that habit. 6:20 right now, 52 degrees.
And coming up after the break, actress Lori Loughlin waking up behind bars. Details on her sentence for her role in the college admission scandal.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
Humira patients, this one's for you. You inspired us to make your Humira experience even better with Humira Citrate Free. It has the same effectiveness you know and trust, but we remove the citrate buffers. There's less liquid and a thinner needle with less pain immediately following injection. Ask your doctor about Humira Citrate Free, and you can use your copay card to pay as little as $5 a month.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask your doctor about Humira Citrate Free, the same Humira you trust with less pain immediately following injection.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
In this morning's GMA First Look, waking up behind bars.
I have to be honest. We may have, well, he may have embellished, lied a bit on our application.
Over the weekend, actress Lori Loughlin entering the federal prison in Dublin, California, where she'll serve her 2-month sentence. Reporting 3 weeks early, the Full House star will spend the first 2 weeks in quarantine at the low-security correctional facility just outside San Francisco.
Lori does not have access to email or possibly even phone calls. She's in one room with no other roommates. They can possibly go out a little bit on the rec yard for a few minutes.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you the latest on Loughlin's husband, Massimo Giannulli, and when he's expected to serve his 5-month sentence. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kaylee Hartung, ABC News, Los Angeles.
In your tech news this morning, Yahoo's launched its first smartphone. It costs just $50. It's bright purple, Android, and comes with pre-installed apps. It has front and rear-facing cameras and 32 gigabytes of storage. Service is available through Yahoo's parent company, Verizon.
In honor of Amazon's voice assistant turning 6, the company is having a birthday sale. To celebrate, prices on Alexa-enabled devices are being slashed. An Echo Dot 3rd generation drops to $19, and the Echo Flex will cost just $10.
What was the name of that first device?
Alexa.
Starbucks says nearly a quarter of all U.S. retail orders are mobile orders through their app. Coffee giant launched the mobile order and pay system 5 years ago, but it's become more popular than ever this year during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I can imagine. Time now, 6:26 and 52 degrees.
Still ahead in our next half hour, tips on finding the perfect patio heater as we prepare for some more winter-like weather, at least colder temperatures.
Yes, and plus a look at some of the key races on the election day ballot. Our Sarah Costa is going to break it down coming up.
And Marcus will be back with a look at time-saver traffic.
Right now on GMSA at 6:30, some key races to look out for as you head to the polls this week. I'm Sarah Costa. Coming up, we'll break down the most competitive races on your ballot.
Plus, making sure you are up to date on air and online. I'm Erica Hernandez, and I'll be giving you a preview of KSAT.com's new election look.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, a beautiful 52 degrees. We had a great weekend. We're looking forward to more good weather, but we're going to see when that's going to come to an end. We're going to check in with Mike right now.
And good Monday morning. It is November 2nd. With the time change, we've got sunshine greeting the San Antonio skyline this morning.
This is true. Happy Monday. Hope you enjoyed that extra hour of sleep.
Let's get straight to Mike and look at the first full week of November and our forecast.
It's going to be beautiful. Nice thing is, sun is up, so it makes it a lot safer for kids going to school. And boy, that's absolutely perfect out there. Make sure you grab your sunglasses, because when that sun finally pops above the horizon, it is going to be bright. Temperature right now at 52 degrees. I think we may drop down still a couple of more degrees just as the sun is coming up. Light wind out of the north. Dew point's very, very low, so we still have a lot of dry air out there. Obviously some clear skies. Maybe a little bit of extra moisture aloft in the atmosphere, so could be a slight milky shade to the sky, or not as intensely blue as what it was over the weekend and late last week, but it's still going to be just a fantastic day. Mold is on the low side. We're going to warm up quickly, and we'll, after a very chilly start. As a matter of fact, we're down in the 30s right now in parts of the hill country. Sunny, pleasant, just absolutely gorgeous out there. Yeah, looks wise, it's going to be fantastic. A couple of extra clouds as the week rolls on. However, it is going to start to get warmer as the week rolls on. And also, humidity is going to start to go up as the week rolls on, leading in toward the weekend. Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. And of course, our fantastic folks in blue, especially this gentleman, Officer Marcus Trujillo.
Well, good morning, Mike.
Good morning, sir. What's going on?
We're off to not too bad of a start. We had an accident earlier. That's cleared up and is out of the way. And we're starting to see some increases in the traffic here and there, but really nothing too bad that should delay you as you're heading out the door in the next few minutes. Right now, 410 at Ingram, you can see traveling both directions, still running smoothly right now. Marcus, Stephanie?
Thanks, Marcus. Well, it's not just the presidential race everyone will have their eyes on. There are also some key races happening at the state and local levels.
Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio to break down some of those races to watch. Good morning.
Hey, Sarah.
Good morning. Well, from races in the U.S. Senate to the state level, there are several competitive races up and down the ballot. So let's start with MJ Hagar and John Cornyn's race. This fall, Air Force veteran MJ Hagar is hoping to flip the seat against incumbent Senator John Cornyn. But Hagar faces an uphill battle in the Lone Star State, where voters have elected Cornyn to the U.S. Senate since 2002. And Republicans have won every statewide election since the early 1990s. Cornyn is leading in the race according to polling by the Texas Tribune, but this race may end up closer than pollsters expect. Another competitive race, U.S. House District 23, which has always been a very competitive district. Republican Will Hurd narrowly held on to the border seat in the 2018 race that was decided by less than 1,000 votes. Hurd's 2018 Democratic opponent, Air Force veteran Gina Ortiz-Jones, is hoping to win the election this time against Republican Navy veteran Tony Gonzalez. Both candidates have the endorsement of their party's presidential nominee, and the seat could help determine the makeup of the U.S. House of Representatives. The Texas Congressional District 21 race is also very competitive. After winning his first congressional bid in 2018, Republican Congressman Chip Roy is facing a significant challenge against former Texas State Senator Wendy Davis. While he wants a quicker return to economic normalcy, Davis has criticized him for not taking COVID-19 seriously enough. For a full list on the information on all of these races, just head to KSAT.com. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. KSAT.com this afternoon will look a little different. An elections takeover will take place to make sure you have all the latest results as they come in.
Our Erica Hernandez live in the KSAT 12 newsroom to explain what we will all be seeing. Hey, Erica, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Well, that takeover to happen late this afternoon. Now, we talked about the key features that will appear when that switch is made, but I also wanted to talk about some of the key articles that can help get you through Election Day and beyond. So if you are voting tomorrow, we have a couple handy articles that will let you know which polling places are the busiest and their wait times. Also, we have a procrastinator's guide to voting. This is everything you need to know before heading to the polls, what you need to take, what you can't take. We also have articles up on every key race in the county right now if you need to do some homework on what each candidate's platforms are. The homepage will feature all of this, including a choose your own adventure type article where you can click and choose what live camera you want to check. Now, we'll have crews all over the county and here in the studio as well. Now, it's going to be a very busy next couple of days, but KSAT.com has you covered for all the latest, and make sure to catch our live streams after our newscast for extended coverage. We have our GMSA live stream tomorrow morning right after the show. Steph, Mark.
And more than 93 million Americans have already cast their 2020 ballots, but the campaigns believe there's still more to be done, especially in the crucial swing states.
And that's why President Trump will hit many of them today. CNN's Karen Caifa has the latest from Washington.
We are going to win 4 more years in that very beautiful place called the White House.
Michigan, Iowa, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. President Donald Trump barnstorming battleground states in his re-election bid's final hours like he did in 2016.
With your vote, we will continue to cut your taxes, cut regulations, support our great police.
But in November 2020, Trump faces an electorate grappling with the twin crises of the coronavirus pandemic and an economic recession. And tens of millions of votes have already been cast. Polls show Trump on defense in key swing states he won against Hillary Clinton 4 years ago, like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And as Biden's campaign eyes flipping states like Georgia, Texas, and Arizona.
As we've gotten closer to the election, we've actually expanded the number of states where we think we're competitive.
The former vice president has put steady experience at the core of his campaign pitch while maintaining criticism of Trump's character and especially his handling of the coronavirus pandemic.
We're done. We're tired of the tweets, the anger, the hate, the failure, the irresponsibility.
Trump holding large-scale closing rallies with few masks and no social distancing, despite the daily tally of new U.S. COVID-19 cases surging to new peaks, urging voters to look past the pandemic and trust him with another term. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
Now turning to the latest coronavirus numbers here in Bexar County. Local health officials announcing 191 new cases and no new deaths. However, 9 backlog deaths reported from July 4th through October 11th were added to the county death toll. This morning, there are 227 people in the hospital locally, 94 in ICU, 59 people currently on ventilators.
And time now is 6:37 and a cool 52 degrees.
Even though the weather is colder, many still want to spend some time outside on the porch. Why not? Well, after the break, a few things to keep in mind when it comes to finding that perfect patio heater. Welcome back to GMSA 640 on your Monday morning. This summer, many of us turn to the outdoors as a safe space to relax and get together with others. But as the weather turns colder, how can we extend the life of our patios and porches?
In this morning's Angie's List report, David Sears shares tips on finding the patio heater that's right for you.
We've all probably spent a little more time on our porches this year, at least more than usual. And as we head into fall and winter, they can still be safe and cozy with the help of a patio heater.
Gas heaters are either natural gas or propane and are a very effective way to heat up your space. Propane heaters come in many portable options, but natural gas heaters do require professional installation. Electric heaters are a very convenient option to use. Most times all it requires is plugging in and they're ready to go.
Fire pits or fire tables are another fun alternative if you're a bit more traditional, and they're practically maintenance-free.
There are drawbacks to each option, so do your research to determine which solution is best for you and your family.
Keep in mind that the average electric heater or fire table won't be able to warm as large of an area as a gas heater. Whatever heater you decide on, make sure you have enough open space around it.
Be sure to read the manufacturer's safety standards to ensure that you have a safe clearance around your heater to avoid causing a fire.
If you have any questions about finding the right heater for your porch or patio, call a professional. And when playing with fire, it's best to err on the side of caution. David Sears, KSAT 12 News.
Right now it is 6:42, and it is that time again. We had a blast last year letting it grow to raise money to fight against cancer. No Shave November has begun right here on GMSA.
So yeah, you'll notice that Mark is having a different look. This is last year though. Look at day one and then the final look, and of course Mike there. Yep. Day one and final day.
And Marcus is doing it as well. And to donate to our team or individual team members, go to KSAT.com. We've got a couple of links set up for you there. And coming up on GMSA at 9 today, we're going to talk a little bit more about the history of No Shave November and some of the groups that it benefits.
Yeah, so we've been doing this for several years here at KSAT. It means a lot to a lot of people, so I hope you guys can donate.
That's right. Did you know that it's actually started as, do you remember Movember? It was the mustache only thing for the month of November. It was mustache in November put together. Started in Australia down in like 2003. Just kind of a bunch of people kind of getting together, just turned into this charity thing. That was 03, and around 9 or 10 is when No Shave November really got going here in the U.S. And since then, they've raised like something like $10 million for a number of charities.
Well, that's cool. I was going to say at least both organizations, or there's multiple organizations raising.
There are, and the one that we've kind of embraced here at KSAT is No Shave November, and that's the one you're going to get the link to on our website at KSAT.com.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that at 9. And for now, let's go ahead and check in with the other unshaven person, Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And right now, as we take a look at the roadways, still looking pretty good as far as accidents are concerned, so no issues here on the map. Take a look at TransGuide. 35 and 410 up on the northeast side. Starting to get a steady stream on those south or northbound main lanes, more so than the southbound lanes at 35 at this point, which is a little unusual. So give it a few minutes. I'm sure those southbound lanes will be catching up. Right, Mike?
Oh, yes, indeed. You know, and when you're talking about back to the No Shave November, for instance, with men, prostate cancer, you know, simple blood test nowadays and checking those PSA levels.
Well, the other thing I like about No Shave, Mike, is that it also benefits St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital as well.
In Memphis there. And when I was in Memphis and did some stories there at times and seeing all the kids there and what they, do and the families that are there and everything like that. So great organization there, St. Jude. All right, wonderful picture. That almost doesn't look real. But it was, oh my goodness gracious, that was absolutely gorgeous. Moon is, well, it's going to be coming up just about the same time the sun goes down later on today, and it's going to be still pretty darn nice, just 2 days past full. Speaking of sunrise, it's just about to creep over the horizon. Notice we've got a couple of high wispy clouds out there. We may keep a couple of high wispy clouds throughout the rest of the day. So notice the difference right here, 52 in town, and then just up the road, right along the escarpment, 34 degrees there, Bernie Stage, same thing, Comfort. So you may have some freezing readings out there just up into the hill country this morning, 40 in Bulverde. And I think we may drop down a few more degrees this morning. We've got very dry air, of course, in place right now, and it's going to remain on the dry side throughout the rest of today. And that means we're going to have just nice, pleasant temperatures, big warm up, cool back down again tomorrow morning, and really good. But things are going to be changing, because dew point temperatures and therefore the humidity will definitely start to go up. And by the mid to end of the week, we're going to be flirting right around 60 degrees and then getting up into the mid 60s by the weekend. So you're going to start to feel a bit more humidity around here as we go on into the weekend. So it's not going to be quite as fallish, unfortunately. 31 right now, International Falls. So we do have some freezing temperatures up there to the north, and most all the country is still on the chilly side, obviously, with the desert Southwest and Florida, but we will start to see temperatures, like I said, going up as we go on into the weekend. There's going to be kind of an overall shift in the weather pattern, and hopefully that leads to a couple of showers maybe by this time next week, but that's kind of speculation as of right now. 70 at noon today, sunny skies. Really good looking morning and really good looking day, 75 for a high temperature, down compared to yesterday. Yesterday we had 82, so we'll be down closer to where we should be, right in the ballpark of normal. Same thing tomorrow after a cooler start, and then we get back to roughly normal readings midweek and then start going up from there up into the low to mid 80s by the weekend. And more humidity.
Okay. And we're going to keep you posted on No Shave all month long. We'll keep reminders there going for our good cause.
And how the itch factor goes.
The itch factor.
Oh, but you guys look nice.
Thank you, Steph. Right now it is 6:47, 52 degrees.
We have local, state, and national races on the ballot, but don't forget about those propositions. We are breaking down the props on workforce development, transportation, and pre-K for SA tomorrow on GMSA and on our election live streams.
And outside with live cam, let's check on that. Wow, perfect. That time change really helps us out on this morning's show because the sun is actually over the horizon. Glad you're with us to start this November Monday. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we are tracking just one day from the election. The candidates going on an all-out blitz of battleground states fighting for every last vote. Of course, we're going to have the latest from their campaigns and from those crucial swing states. You'll see it all coming up right here on GMA.
And for some people, it may seem as though the coronavirus pandemic is never ending. It can even go as far as affecting your mental health.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Max Massey and Sarah Costa have some tips on how to manage coronasomnia.
It's no secret that 2020 has been a stressful year, and new studies show that sleeping during this pandemic, or at least trying to sleep, it's become a nightmare for a lot of people.
Well, between cooling off from the stress of the workday, managing anxiety from reading about the pandemic and politics, people around the world are struggling to find that nighttime relaxation, and it shouldn't come as a surprise with all the disruption we have seen this year.
People who have experienced some sort of disruption to their usual sleeping routine since the pandemic began this March are experiencing more restlessness or a poor quality of sleep. For others, the new reality is more obvious, either a chronic lack of sufficient sleep or full-on insomnia. Some experts have gone so far to nickname the current trend coronasomnia.
Since the pandemic started, the numbers of those who are struggling with sleep have gotten worse. 36% of Americans reported difficulty sleeping this summer because of stress due to the pandemic. All of this is according to the latest study from the Kaiser Family Foundation. And there are many reasons to be concerned. Poor or insufficient sleep, it can increase the risk for chronic health problems, things like diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, kidney disease, heart disease, and depression.
Sleep also is considered a critical part of the proper function of our immune system, which is important during a pandemic. Poor sleep habits can also lead to weight gain, according to the Society of Behavioral Sleep Medicine. That's because lack of sleep is associated with dysregulation of the hormones that make us hungry and tell us when we're full. Studies also show fatigue hijacks our motivation to exercise, and when we're tired, we generally make more impulsive choices about everything, especially what we eat.
For those formally diagnosed with insomnia, there are medical aids you can consult a doctor about.
Or you can try cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. Medical professionals say it helps people identify the underlying causes of their insomnia or adopt behavior changes.
That's right. The treatment is about breaking bad habits and retraining yourself to sleep the healthy way. Tactical changes to your everyday lifestyle can also improve sleep habits, as well as trying to exercise every day. Try to burn off that stress and wear yourself out. Guys, back to you.
Well, the heated battle on the campaign trail almost at a close. More than 93 million voters have already cast their ballots, shattering records from the 2016 presidential election.
But both President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are still making their case to voters. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest from Washington.
Good morning. Despite what the polls show, both campaigns are operating as if this race is still either candidates to win.
With the race to the White House approaching the finish line,
it's time for Donald Trump to pack his bags and go home.
President Trump and Joe Biden laser focused on critical battleground states.
We are going to win the state of Michigan again.
Trump holding 5 large rallies across 5 states on Sunday.
And we're going to win 4 more years in the White House.
In Iowa, the latest Des Moines Register poll shows he has a 7-point lead over Joe Biden. Biden leading by the same margin in Pennsylvania, according to the latest ABC News Washington Post poll. Biden slamming the president's handling of the coronavirus.
Imagine where we'd be if this president just wore a mask instead of mocked it from the beginning.
He wants to lock down. We're never locking down.
Meanwhile, Trump raising eyebrows with this comment.
We should know the result of the election on November 3rd.
While news outlets project a winner early, vote tallies have never been final on election night.
It's more important that we get a count that is accurate than a count that is fast.
In anticipation of protests on election night, federal law enforcement authorities are telling ABC News there are plans to add more non-scalable fencing around the White House. Area businesses are also boarding up. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up today on GMSA at 9, a lot of people have had Election Day on their minds for a while, but we can't forget about another important date coming up this month.
Veterans Day is Wednesday, November 11th, and a local organization wants to make sure our veterans are never forgotten. How you can help a local veteran feel loved at 9 after Good Morning America.
About 5 till, let's check traffic with Officer Trujillo.
And right now, as you take a look at the roadways, there's 35 at 410. That northbound traffic's kind of subsided just a little bit. And take a look, Highway 151 at 410, travel in both directions. Still running smoothly, starting to get a little bit busier out there, folks. And then take a look, 1604 Bandera. There's evidence that you're probably going to need the sunglasses once you head eastbound anywhere in the city.
Well, and here's the evidence of that. Yeah, what a beautiful picture. 51 degrees right now. Now, we may still drop down a couple of more notches here. That's top of the hour, but in between the hourly readings. But look at that, 34 Bernie Stage and Comfort. And then a nice big warm up throughout the day. We can't overlook this picture. We're just going to end on this one. High temperature today up to 75 degrees. An absolutely fantastic day.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. That's all for now.
We'll see you back here at 9.